My name is Rowan Wilson. I am the Chief Judge of the New York State Court of Appeals and of the State of New York. I have three sort of typical days at the office. One typical day is when I'm sitting as the Chief Judge of the Court of Appeals, and those days are in Albany. And those days are working with my law clerks, a lot of reading, listening to the arguments. There we consider issues that have statewide importance, and we set the law on what those are. And then in New York City, which is where I am 80% of the time, there are two sort of sets of typical days. One is a day like today when I'm in chambers reading briefs, reading cases, and writing myself notes on the Court of Appeals docket. The other is with my other hat on, the Chief Judge of the State of New York, where by working with the legislature, by working with the executive branch on potential legislation, commenting on legislation, I work to try and make sure that people's rights are protected and the law advances.
The first thing that strikes you about him is he's so personable. He's so easy to talk to. He's one of the most humble people that I've ever met. And that is inspirational because when you combine that with his judicial excellence, it's not something that you find.
Rowan has really been sort of a model for folks who are interested in aspiring to sort of reach the highest levels.
He's a trailblazer. He has a deep sense of justice, and he has a deep sense of humanity. He treats everyone with dignity.
I've watched him talk to people in power and positions in the same manner that he talks to a person that's considering going to law school. And that is inspirational because you feel it and you know it's not phony.
Thoughtful, good listener, someone who is always sort of reaching back and making sure that others who come after him have an opportunity to do the things that he's done.
When I graduated from law school, and for several years after that, what I imagined that I would do was to teach, to be a professor. And that's not what I'm doing now, although in a sense, I think a lot of what I did in private practice was to teach young lawyers. I change my law clerks every year, unlike most of the other judges on my court. And they're not all, brand new, some of them are 30, but they're all relatively recently graduated from law school. And I've always thought that as long as somebody wants to learn and wants to do a good job, I can teach them anything. I think it's part of my job as a judge on a court to get as many people in for a year to be able to see what it is like inside of a court. I know that from my own service as a law clerk, when I then was a practicing lawyer, I was much less nervous about going into court because I understood how the sausage was made.
Harlem is home for me. And I was actually surprised to learn that for many, many years, he was chairman of the board of Neighborhood Defenders Association.
Is his service to the Neighborhood Defender Service. When Rowan became the chair, we were a small organization really sort of struggling to survive, and through his guidance and through his leadership, we have been able to grow and become stronger and better, now reaching into sort of every region of the country. We're in the Midwest and also in the Southwest in Texas. And I think that a lot of that ability to grow and to serve more people in more capacities is a function of Rowan's leadership.
This is something that he did on his own, aside from the practice of law, giving back to the community. And it's something that he always preaches, right, about giving back.
The one piece of advice I would single out that I'd gotten was really from my parents, which was that I should just be myself. That if I, don't try to be somebody you're not, don't try to do things because that's what other people expect of you, be yourself. Because it's too much effort and it's too painful to try and be somebody that you're not. You won't end up being happy.
His command of jurisprudence and the law, his decisions are just amazing. As a lawyer, as somebody that loves the law, and I'm going to put that in there too, the man loves the law. He loves the law, and his command of it is really something exemplary. To have that type of jurisprudence excellence, and yet to be the humble, sharing person that he is, it's a rare combination. But I have to throw in this also. The man has a wicked sense of humor. Okay, you hang out with him for a little while, and he's cracking jokes and making stuff, and you're like, a second, is that you? Yes, it's him. He has a wicked sense of humor and he loves a good joke.
Safe to say, without sort of any fear of contradiction, at least in the 30 plus years that I've been practicing law, Rowan's ascension to the chief judge in the state of New York is the most important happening in the legal system in New York and the judiciary of New York in the past 30 years, and will prove when his time is said and done and we look back and the history is written to have been truly, truly transformative.
Chief Judge Wilson, congratulations on this award. You've earned it.
Why is he worthy of this award? Because it's been a long time coming, baby. And if there was somebody that was going to get it, somebody that is so deserving of not just the accolade, but because of who he is, it is Chief Judge Rowan D. Wilson.